We're back. Hi
We're back.
everyone. Yeah, we're here for another album exchange. Last time, if you didn't watch the series, we gave each other 5 albums each, and we liked some. We were indifferent on some others, but
Right.
for this time, there's
One
only
of us had better choices than the other.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say which one.
Yeah, some scores were a little bit biased. But, this time for my 5, I'm giving you only one that's a difficult listen, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I think I gave you 4 ones that, like, a lot of people who aren't into, like, the kind of experimental stuff or abstract would probably not like. It would take them a few listens. So this is going to be a very chilled out 5. And are your 5 kind of similar, or are they more challenging?
I wouldn't say they're chilled out. They're in the middle.
Okay.
They're definitely not challenging.
All
I
right.
wouldn't say they're challenging, no.
Ooh, I don't know. So,
I'd say they're the appropriate amount that you would want in an album.
All right. Yeah, I tried to do. There's only one that's over like 70 minutes long. So
Okay.
the rest of them are like around 40, 30 minutes. So the first one I'll present to you is the one I was going to give you last time.
Oh,
David
dang.
Bowie, Scary Monsters.
I have not heard this.
So this is technically not a Berlin album because it only has Tony Visconti. It doesn't have Brian Eno.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of is kind of like that 80s kind of art rock, kind of post-punk almost. And an interesting bit of trivia about this album, the opening song, Never Ending Game, I think, the two singers...
It's No Game.
It's No Game, yeah, sorry. Never Ending Game is different. It's No Game. The 2 female singers were on the cover of the Sparks album, Kimono My House.
Oh, interesting.
Because Tony Visconti produced for Sparks as well. And my favorite song on there is Ashes to Ashes and the title track as well. It's a very, very good album, early 80s. I think it might be one of your favorite David Bowies.
Oh, so context, I'm a very big Bowie fan.
Oh, yes.
What is, just for context, what do you mean by a Berlin album? I feel like that's not always shared language.
So the Berlin trilogy is known as albums where Brian Eno and Tony Visconti helped David Bowie record albums. The 3 albums that are really known as Berlin albums are Heroes, Low, and Lodger. Because Brian Eno was involved in all 3 of those, as well as Tony Visconti.
And they're recorded in Berlin.
Yeah, they're recorded at the same studio in about the same time frame. But I think Lodger was a little bit later because David Bowie was touring for Low and Heroes. But yeah, those 2 guys were involved on those 3 albums. But Tony Visconti would continue to produce him until like Let's Dance or Tonight or one. And he might have produced some of his later stuff. But yeah, that's considered the Berlin trilogy.
Awesome.
I think that might be number 1.
To listen to that one.
Alrighty. No, now you're first one.
Let me see which one I want to give you here first. Alright, first we are going to go with, this is a album that is not in English.
Okay.
This is, I'm pulling it up, Morskaya by Mummy Troll. This is a rock album in Russian that I found while listening to different albums. I'm trying to expand my horizons in terms of albums from other... This looks longer because it's a deluxe version. It's a pretty short album. This is straight gas.
Okay.
There's like no wasted time on this album. I was shocked how good it was. I don't really have much context since I don't know anything about the artist Mummy Troll, but... you'll just have to wait and see what you think of it. If you just want a good rock album, I highly recommend.
What genre?
It's honestly just straightforward rock, like pop. I mean, it's pop leaning rock. It's not the most like experimental rock. It's just kind of like, I don't know. You know how like sorry for the camera moving. That's my cat.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of like, I don't know, it's not like the Strokes, but you know how like the Strokes are just straightforward rock. There's not really anything else to it. I would say this is like that. It's a little more than the Strokes, like in terms of production wise, but yeah.
All right, that's interesting. I'm excited for that one. This next one is my dad's favorite album. And I know that you're starting to get into country rock because you like Wilco and Bright Eyes. A lot of Conor Oberst and Jeff Tweedy are a big fan of this guy. I'm giving you Harvest by Neil Young. It's a very, 72 was a big, year for Toronto artists like Joni Mitchell, Steppenwolf, That's considered one of the great Canadian albums of all time. The song Old Man, Heart of Gold, those songs are known for very popular. There are some songs that sound like they're almost recorded live, like Man Needs a Maid has like a big orchestra, and Neil and the Damage Done, you actually have like audience like applause at the end of it. The guy who did the orchestrations on that album, Jack Nietzsche, he was known for doing a lot of film scores in the 70s. And he was a part of... This isn't the band Crazy Horse that Neil... This is the Stray Gators. But I think you'll like it because it's, even though it's of its time, it has some things that a lot of artists nowadays were influenced by. So that's a great album to start.
I am very, very excited about this because I've obviously heard of this album more times than I can count. I've never listened to it. Also, I love orchestration on rock albums, so that makes me kind of excited for
there's
it quite a bit.
There's a good variety. Like there's some blues rock, there's some other stuff. So I think you might really like it.
I am very, very excited for that one. Your next album is one that you have not listened and wanted to listen to, and I have listened to, so I decided we would give you throw you a bone here with a shorter album. This is OK Human by Weezer.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
For context, I have not listened to much Weezer. This is really, like, this might be the only album of theirs I've listened to. I know that's kind of heinous to say. I haven't listened to the Blue album or Pinkerton, but talking about orchestration with rock music, that's the whole purpose of this album.
Okay, that's one with all my favorite songs on it.
Yes.
Like, I love that song.
The non-AJR version. That AJR version is Cheeks.
No, yeah, it is.
Really bad. I will say this album, it's not like the best album of all time. It's just kind of like a good orchestrated rock album. It's not gonna blow your socks off.
I'm so excited.
It's a little cheesy.
Oh boy, but hey, you know I like Glass Animals, so I mean, yeah.
Oh, it's a good listen. It's a good listen.
That's good.
I would say it's. Well, I'll give you my score when we go back and review after.
Boy.
But it's a positive score.
All right, this next one. I'm gonna throw this a loop here. You're either gonna say this is your favorite album of all time, or we're gonna say,
I hope it's Van Weezer.
You're gonna be like, this is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
So this is an artist. Have you ever heard of King Cruel?
I have. I have never listened to this album. I recognize the cover.
Man alive. So King Cruel, aka Archie Marshall, started out as a rapper. He had a lot of mixtapes.
Oh, really?
But then he kind of started doing this kind of like chilled out kind of electronic rock music, and his voice is kind of like Tom Waits, and not in the way it sounds, but in the way you probably freaking hate it, because he kind of like mumble.
Tom Waits.
I know you like that one, but kind of like mumble. He kind of sounds like he's drunk or something. Kind of mumbles things. But that album has the most freaking interesting production. It'll drop from like almost, you know how David Bowie kind of did like that acidy jazz on Black Star, kind of that weird improvisation. Some of that production is on this album.
Dude, I love Black Star.
There's a lot of post-punk influences and a lot of psychedelic influences.
It's got a poster.
Yeah, the vinyl poster is real big, but that'll be the thumbnail. But I think you're either gonna love that album or you're gonna hate it. I don't think that's the kind of album where you can't be in between on it.
I'm excited to listen to this one.
It took me a few listens to get into it. Now I love it. And his newest album, Space Heavy, which came out 2 years ago, is just as good, if not better than that one.
Oh, dang. I feel like you're selling these albums better than I sold mine.
No, it's...
Are we calling this indie rock, like experimental indie rock?
It's like experimental rock.
Okay.
Experimental.
All right, your next choice. Let me see which one. This one's completely different. I kind of gave you a hint that I was going to give you an album like this. This is a greatest hits album because I've listened to multiple other albums and nothing matches the... Let me see what the word I'm looking for. The pacing of this as like the greatest hits album. This is Oh Happy Day, the best of the Edwin Hawkins singers. This is an old gospel group This
Oh,
album
okay.
kicks so hard. I've re-listened to this thing
What year is that?
so much. The best of is 2001. They were more, I believe, in the 80s
Oh, I love
and
like
70. Oh, they
yeah,
went all the way back to the
soul.
60s. So I've listened to about
Yeah.
3 of their albums besides this, and none of them hit as hard
I'm
as
really
the greatest
excited.
of. That I don't know. That track list is just one thing to the next. It's very, very good.
I'm excited because
Highly
my
recommend.
dad got me into Motown with bands like Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay.
My dad loves Sly and the Family, so I'm really excited for that.
This is all about vertical harmony. There's not much variation in terms of like they'll repeat lines a lot, but you just have like a stack of singers jumping at once. They're very good at distinct sections in their songwriting. So
That's cool.
it's a long one, but it's a good, well-paced album. Paced is the word I was looking for.
That's what I love is something that's long, but as long as it doesn't feel long. Which
Yeah.
you're probably gonna hate me with the last album.
I'm down if it's good.
So this album, the next one, is a band who I always liked. You know, I got into them during like COVID. You know, because they had a song that YouTube would just recommend me music before I had Spotify.
Okay.
And I really loved the music video for the single, and then I got into this album, and they kind of get a bad rap. People think, oh, they're just trying to be Radiohead, or they're just trying to be weird.
Is this gonna be Muse?
No, it's Alt J and Awesome Wave.
I've not listened to Alt J.
Everyone kind of thinks, oh, they're just, you know,
Back.
an indie band on a big label, but that album has some really cool production on it. Like,
Okay.
It's kind of like chamber pop mixed with trip hop mixed with experimental rock. My favorite song on there, "Dissolve Me," has these really cool like chambery kind of. Sorry, his cat's just like peering over the table.
Over at it. I'll
Has
grab
some
them
really
for the
cool
review.
production, and there's also a lot of like really like dark. I'll wait for you to catch it.
No, you can keep talking.
There's also like a really lot of like dark themes on there, like the song "Breeze Blocks." If you look up the lyrics, very depressing lyrics, but the instrumental is very kind of upbeat and stuff. Same with Fitz Pleasure. Fitz Pleasure actually has a very like dark story, but it like has this awesome like industrial like drop in it. That's awesome. It might be your favorite one, and we'll do our predictions after we give all 5. But
So I'm guessing this is like alt pop, alt rock.
alt pop, experimental, trip hop kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Awesome.
All right.
My next one, this one I'm going to give you a choice between 2 albums. The 2 albums that are to choose between are, I'm going to pull them both up here so I can show a visual representation of the album cover. I don't know if you've heard either of these before, that's why I'm giving you a choice. The first one is Long Season by Fishman.
I've heard of them.
The other one is Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell.
Ooh, yeah, my dad does like
You have to choose between one or the other.
I think I'm gonna pick the Fishmans, because the Joni Mitchell one, I think I just listened to say, oh, that's good. I don't think nothing against Joni, but I feel like the Fishmans will give me something more to think about while I'm listening to it. So I'm gonna pick the Fishmans.
So the Fishmans' Long Season is one 35-minute song called Long Season.
Okay.
It is just instrumental rock music with some vocals every once in a while. Very production focused, very atmosphere focused on the production. I don't know what else to say except it's just catchy for being instrumental focused.
Okay, so kind of like Battles, how like they have like the catchy kind of beats to their music.
I would say this is much more melodic than Battles.
Okay.
Battles to me sounds more sample based. This still sounds like songwriting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's see what's up here.
So this is a band who I think you like.
Okay.
You don't love the lead. you don't love the lead singer because of some weird things he said.
Okay.
You do own one of their albums, and this album has
On
probably
vinyl,
probably has their most popular song on it.
Oh dang!
Which
I have
you
no
do
idea
like.
what this is gonna be.
It's an album that I'm gonna show it to you in a minute. I just want to get there.
Oh, I know who this is gonna be now that I think about
I
it.
always liked some songs off this album. You know, kind of went in between genre. But when I listened to it, it was like this album, like the whole experience. maybe he has too many songs, but
I know exactly who this is
think
gonna
you
be.
should listen to it and you will love it. It is The Amazing. I like it when you sing, for you are so beautiful, yet so unaware of it, by the 1975. This album rocks, dude.
I can't wait.
Dude, so many songs on there. The song Somebody Else is on that album.
Okay, I like
the
that
sound is awesome. Love Me has one of the best guitar solos. Ugh is an awesomely produced song. There's some really cool, like, minimalist techno parts, like the title track is like minimalist electronica. A Change of Heart has some great production. Give this album a chance. It's 74 minutes, but give it a chance.
Oh, I'm down to give it a chance.
You're probably gonna hate some. It doesn't have too many creepy lyrics on it. There's not like some of their songs do, but I think that you might like that one a lot.
So, for context, I have their newest album at the time of recording this that I'm like blanking on the name of for some reason.
Being Funny in a Foreign Language.
Being Funny in a Foreign Language. I absolutely love that album. I think that's Jack Antonoff at his best, is when he's working with someone else who already has a vision for their own music and not just creating it from scratch. And it's very much live instrumentation with some of that Jack Antonoff. The microphone sounds like it's in the other corner of the room. Recording that he loves to do for like Lana Del Rey and Clairo at times. So that album I love. For context, their first album I did not love as much. That sounds just more like all pop to me.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is leaning more towards this, but I've heard that this is better.
Yeah, this one is more atmospheric than their first album. Yeah.
Dude, I'm actually excited to listen to this because I've been wanting to just like rip through their discography.
Yeah, this
and listen
one
through all of them,
is before they just got weird for the sake of being weird.
Okay.
This one
this one's still cohesive before they went like, okay, cool.
Whatever the fuck the one is.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing with that. Like, what was it, Greta Thunberg, and then like that nasty orchestra track.
Okay, what's your last one?
All right, my last one. I'm hoping this is an album you've never heard of. I had not heard of it. I randomly I saw two different like clips of people talking about it at separate times, like maybe like a year ago and then like a month ago. I'm like, okay, let me listen to this because I've been meaning to. Like, I had it saved. And I kid you not, this is easily a 9 out of 10 album.
Ooh.
This is, I don't hear it talked about too much for how good it was. This is Boca Canada. I don't know if you've heard of this album at all.
No idea
by
what
Gustavo.
that is. No idea.
So, Gustavo Cerati, Bocanada. This is a experimental rock album. It reminds me of David Bowie's Low in the way that some songs are just completely instrumental.
Meditation music.
It goes into production that sounds like 90s hip hop.
Really?
Into like experimental rock, into orchestrated music, into like just straight up like electronic synths, like instrumentals.
Boy.
It is crazy. It's an hour and 9 minutes. This is the most slept on album I think on planet Earth, for the fact that I have not heard of it that much for how good it is. It's like so clearly you listen to it once, you're like, this is a classic album. So that is your final burden to bear.
Okay, so I'll predict how I think you're gonna rank these real quick. Let me see here. This is gonna be number 5 for the 1975. I think this is gonna be number 4, just because I think you're gonna have the same thing with Liars, where you like the production, but it's a little repetitive, and like the vocals. I think King Cruel's gonna be number 4. I think Neil Young's gonna be number 3.
Oh wow.
Alt J number 2, just because you like it's kind of that Radiohead-ish production, and David Bowie number 1.
Dang.
That's how I think you're gonna do it. But
I think for mine, you are going to give. I think you're gonna give OK Human number 5. If
you never know.
Then I think after that you are going to put. I think you'll put, I don't know, Long Season. All of mine are such a shot in the dark on how much you're going to like them, so I'm going to put Long Season, even though these are all albums besides OK Human that I absolutely love. Then you're going to do Oh Happy Day.
I'm excited.
Then you're going to do the Mummy Troll album, and then you're going to do the Gustavo Cerati album, because it's like just undeniably amazing.
Yeah, I do like abstract music.
So we will see.
Yeah, we'll see in a few weeks. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.